Hey, welcome to Cycle Cinema on Action Motorcycles, where two wheels meets the silver screen. I'm Bryan from Binge Moto, and joining me for this ride is a guy who knows bikes like Brando knew brooding. My friend and fellow moto enthusiast, Brandon, Mr. Action Motorcycles himself. Brandon, are you ready to take a trip back to 1953's The Wild One?
Let's do this.
Keep looking for action, chase the rising sun. Every mile of memory, every race we've won. The open road's our playground under heaven's sea of blue. On action motorcycles, dreams are coming true.
Let's do this. What's going on, man?
Not much, not much. Been trying to get back at this one for a while. In case you didn't catch us before, we did an episode about the probably the most iconic motorcycle movie, Easy Rider. But I think this one is probably the original motorcycle movie. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
for
set the
sure.
culture. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I think this one kind of set a lot of the tones that carried through Hollywood for 50 plus years.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
after watching it, you totally see where like Elvis and Bob Dylan, they got their style. They just copied Brando's, the hat and the jacket and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, good deal. So, in case you guys haven't seen it before, like Brian was saying, this is a series that we're doing of motorcycle movie reviews. We still haven't figured out what we're going to do next, but we can talk about that at the end of
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
episode. But this one is about the Wild One. I'll be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. There were some oddball parts, and it was yeah, honestly, I think I got sandbagged a little bit, Brian, by Easy Rider, because the end of Easy Rider is so nihilistic
Yeah.
and just kind of a gut punch. Like ending to a motorcycle movie other than complete dismal misery is probably going to be good. And so
Yeah, I guess we should
so
say that we're going to give like our general thoughts on it first. Then we're going to kind of,
oh yeah, of
we're going to
course.
spoil it. We're going to spoil it. Not that you can really spoil it. There's not much plot to it, really. It's just
That's
it's
fair.
a culture movie.
Yeah, so yeah, well, we can give our early thoughts, and then we can get into how about you, Brian? What were your kind of gut feeling thoughts on the movie?
It kind of it falls into the category of old movies old. I mean, so it's hard to watch it now. Uh, what's the one that just came out with Jodie Comer and Austin Butler, the bike riders,
Oh yeah,
right?
the bike
So
riders, yeah,
I didn't love that movie, but like watching that and then watching this and seeing like the modern versus like because it's basically set around the same time period or whatever. Well, actually, they show the Wild One in that movie because he's watching it on TV, and that's what inspires him to
that's
start that
right,
club,
that's
at
right.
least in that movie. Um, yeah, so the opening, it's kind of cheeseball. They've got they didn't have green screens and stuff back then. They literally just had a projector playing a background and him sitting on a motorcycle, pretending to ride. And so you kind of got to let all that stuff go. Overall, it was okay. I mean, like you said, it's iconic for a reason. It was it was of its time, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I without spoiling anything, I think the one thing that I'll say that I think this, other than the historic kind of DNA that it's created around motorcycle culture, that's kind of you can't kind of it's kind of ubiquitous now. The one thing that I think this movie is still important to watch, or that still has value for a bike rider, is there's kind of that that aimlessness, or the trying to find himself, or the rebelling against everything and nothing at the same time kind
Yeah,
of
it was
feeling.
that post World War II, like lost generation. These kids that had you know like they just had this big event in their life, and now they're trying to find themselves.
Yeah, well,
It's like
and I think there, in any generation, I think that's the part of this movie that can actually connect. I think there's a lot of folks out there maybe looking at their first bike, or just got their first bike, and are getting a sense of community, getting a sense of a group for the first time that they maybe didn't have. That I think that this movie does kind of speak to that a little bit. I mean, it's also kind of propaganda for why people with blue jeans and motorcycles are bad guys, but
Well, I mean,
um,
it started the image, right? It was
yeah,
based on it was based on a real like 1947 event in a town called Hollister in
that's right.
California where these games came in. I don't know if they actually did anything terrible. They got drunk and hung around for a couple of days, and they actually posed some guy next to a bike and some bottles, and they, like Time magazine or something, and it just
That's
became
right.
like this whole thing, right? It didn't really, they didn't like destroy a town or anything, and they just kind of, cause a little mischief, But
That's right.
yeah, yeah, actually, so they banned it in the UK until 1968, which I found kind of funny. Like that's a long time. It came out in '53. I mean, 15 years they wouldn't let them see it over there. So
68. Everybody's pants came off, and the rules on the movies came off at the same time, I guess.
Unbridled hooliganism is what they said. The reason why. That was a pretty funny quote.
That might need to be my new license plate, unbridled hooliganism or whatever.
Yeah, right. Especially on that Street Fighter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm working on a vanity plate for the Street Fighter actually, but yeah. So kind of diving into the movie. First of all, any other first thoughts from you on this one?
No, I think my biggest impression I came away from the movie with was really more about Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Because I only know him from like The Godfather, and he was Superman's dad in the 79, 80 Superman movie. So
he's so creepy in Apocalypse Now. Like it was kind of nice for him to not be creepy.
Now, yeah,
or whatever. So
and just seeing him, I don't know. It was weird because he's got this reputation of I don't know, like a bad boy or whatever. He just seemed very effeminate and very like Lee Marvin is in the movie as as his rival Chino, and like Lee Marvin's like a man's man, and they had this fight scene in it, which clearly was a stunt double, for Brando, right. But it was some old fashioned '50s fighting where they're throwing these big
haymaker punches and whatever.
Yeah, they're going ooh,
some guys in the back punching a sack of rice or whatever, or making the sound or whatever.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, so that's my take is that there's still value in this movie for new and experienced bike riders, but we can get into the review or the opinion and the rating of it at the end.
Right.
So you kind of open it up with talking about him riding on the green screen or with the background behind him, and then for the second movie in a row, we've got a bunch of motorcycle riders riding into a bunch of random people. If you remember in the Easy Rider, they rode into the parade.
They rode into the parade, yeah.
And here they ride into a big race. It's just like
there's like a flat track race in the beginning, and it's really unclear like what they're doing there. Like everybody says he's the better racer, but he's not. He doesn't want to race, and then he steals a trophy, which was like the trophy was like the main crux of the whole movie, really. Like
that's the MacGuffin, right? It's the symbol of his pride or his his inner rebellion, whatever you want to call it, that he kind of is holding on to, and then by the end of the movie, he's we can spoil it in a minute, but I thought it was interesting that in two movies in a row of the most iconic motorcycle movies, we were riding into a crowd once again,
right.
And there was some sort of off-road piece to the beginning of it with the kind of the dirt track race, flat track race. So that was kind of cool for me. Twice in a row, I was like, "Oh, hey, this is awesome," because I had not seen this movie before.
Oh, I had never seen it.
Review it. So.
No, I'd only heard of it.
Yeah,
and I knew like its story, its history, but I knew I had never. I mean, there are some pretty funny scenes in it, which we'll get to later. But I'd never seen it, like not even on TV in the background or anything. Yeah, so
they ride into this town, and the cops kind of chase them off, or they decide to. This place is for squares. Let's blow this off and go on to the next town, and blow into the next town, and lo and behold, they pull into the soda shop, and there's Miss Kathy there, who's the love interest of Marlon Brando.
Yeah, Mary Murphy plays Kathy, and then her dad is played by Robert Keith, and he's the sheriff. He's the town sheriff.
The very weak sheriff, who's we come to find out is barely holding on.
Yeah, he's trying to accommodate them the whole movie. Like he's kind of like trying to just keep them calm and keep all the citizens calm, and it was interesting.
It's an interesting dynamic. And there were certainly some people in the town that were excited for them to come in. They were certainly spending some money. Which, by the way, that's another point I've got here: is how the heck did these guys have any money?
Yeah, it seemed like they had no jobs, and You
No
know,
jobs. Somehow they can afford gas, and I mean, I guess they just steal. I guess they just steal is kind of what I kind of had my brain tell myself is that well they just kind of steal. But here they are spending all their money. So
yeah,
why would they just go in and steal all the beer?
right.
So I don't know.
I did make a note that the beers were a quarter, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Beers were a quarter, and now forgive me. Was it this early on? So we get to know the town a little bit, and they start kind of raising some rabble, and most of the guys are hanging out
Well,
the soda
they run
shop.
into the guy that's their old running mate, right? And I think that's who Lee Marvin plays in it. And then they get into a big fight. One of the guys gets hurt and ends up going to the hospital, so that's why they kind of stuck around. That was the reason supposedly they stayed
Right.
because they didn't want to leave their friend behind.
Oh well, yeah.
Um,
Well, they're hanging out before we get to the Lee Marvin. So they're hanging out, and that's when they're at the soda shop or the bar, and somebody asks Marlon Brando's character Johnny, well, what are you rebelling against? And
yeah.
it's the famous line, what do you got,
What do you
or
got?
whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's sums up youth culture in any culture in any age. There's that point when their bodies, our voices start changing a little bit. Everybody gets some pimples, and everybody's mad at the world. And that's what Marlon Brando was symbolizing here a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Yeah.
then
And by the way, they call him Boy the whole movie, and he was like, I think he was 29 or 30 when he filmed this movie.
oh yeah, it was oh gosh,
But they act
what's
like he
the
was like 17 years old or something. They're like, oh, this poor kid. Why we, just give him a break or whatever. And I'm like, he's like a 30-year-old man.
well, it's like Grease, right? The movie
Yeah.
Grease, where
Yeah.
they're all in their 30s or whatever, 20s and 30s, playing high school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I did note also that they call their bikes sickles. And
Sickles. Yeah.
get on that sickle. So that's some
And
Midwestern slang
and
there.
surprisingly, or maybe not for the time, Brando was supposedly on his own bike. It's a 1950 Triumph Thunderbird.
That's right.
I guess Harley had offered him a bike, but he didn't want it. He wanted to use his own bike.
Don't get me wrong, because you're a big Triumph guy. Appropriately wearing the shirt there, yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of solidified Triumph's at least stake in the U.S. for a little while.
Yeah.
Is what I understand.
Supposedly Triumph wasn't happy because they didn't like the image that the movie portrayed.
Oh.
So they didn't really want them using their bikes, but
Well,
I guess it
don't
worked
know-
out for
I don't
them.
know what to say. You're using
it,
motorcycle.
any press is any press is good press or whatever.
Well, you're selling. How else do you sell motorcycles in the 50s? I mean,
Yeah.
what are you going to do there?
Right. But and his rival though was on a he was on a Harley Ultra Glide. I can
That's
spit
right.
it out. Yeah.
So I got to say, I don't know if you noticed this or not. Have you watched the Sons of Anarchy?
I have never really seen that. No.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll have to deal with that also. Okay, well, this isn't gonna resonate with you then. But to our viewers out there, I almost said viewer. Please watch our video. To our viewers out there, I thought it was uncanny how similar the rival motorcycle gang leader looked to. And now his name is escaping the guy who played Clay, who was kind of the patriarch of the Sons of Anarchy, father figure to the main
Ron Perlman?
character. Yes, Perlman, Ron
Yeah.
Perlman. I thought it was incredible how similar they were, and almost kind of chewing the scenery the same way,
Yeah.
with that same kind of kind of laugh with the little cigar butt sticking out of their mouth or whatever. So I wonder if that was a deliberate choice or if that was in the mind of the writer, the creator of Sons of Anarchy to cast him, or if it didn't have anything to do with it. But I thought that was really interesting.
Hmm.
So that was another cool little motorcycle connection there in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with it. I know like the actors that were in it and stuff, but I never got into it as far
It's
as
pretty cool. Hey, listen, content for future, right? Maybe
That's
we
right,
can watch
yeah.
it and do all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So moving down the line here. So they're kind of hanging out in the town, and the townsfolk are kind of getting upset, and the bike riders are getting a little bit more rowdy, and Johnny decides to forgive me. What leads him to take? They kind of started chasing him around.
Well,
They
yeah,
were gonna,
that kind of happens later. First, there's a whole thing where Kathy's really interested in him.
right. Oh yeah. Well, the young tough guy blows into town on his bike,
Yeah,
Um,
he's wearing these mom jeans. I just like I was laughing so hard the whole time. He's got that sailor cap on sideways or whatever. It
that's
just
right.
yeah. The funniest part was when she's like, "So what do y'all do? Go on a picnic or something?" And he's like, "Picnic? No, that's for squares, man." He's like snapping his fingers, you know. He's like, "We just go wherever we want to go, you know." And I'm just like, "Oh my god!" That I actually made like a little clip out of that and put it on Facebook because it just cracked me up so hard, you know.
Too good.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, this is what we tell our wives, and then we just ride to breakfast, you know, like, yeah,
Yeah, Starbucks.
yeah,
Whatever.
we're gonna go out and rebel, and then we just, we ride down to breakfast and get
That's
some
right.
pancakes, you know.
That's right.
Yeah,
Get back on the bike. Oh man, I should have had.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's interesting because that's also, I think, a little bit of where the culture of, hey, you know, I don't want to use the word dog whistle, but that's what's coming to my mind. So just forgive that term. Of, hey, if you get a motorcycle, the chick at the soda shop is gonna think you're cute. You know, oh, this is what, I'm the rebellious tough guy. This is how I can get gals. It's just it entered the DNA of the culture just right here from the beginning. Just like again with Easy Rider, it's funny when you look at how many parallels are between the movies. Just like when they blow into town and the girls in the little restaurant are thinking they're all
right,
cute and pointing at them. So there's got to be that aspect of it too. So now you're you're trying to tell all these young men in the theaters in the 50s that motorcycles are bad, but they're doing whatever they want and they're getting the girls. And hold on a second, how bad really is, how bad really is this? So yeah, so she's interested in him. Keep. I think I cut you off on that one. So she's
oh
interested in
yeah,
him a little
no,
bit.
that so they have a whole connection, and he takes her out. He takes her out on like a ride,
Well,
right?
he did that. Remember, because she was they were chasing. She was running too,
Yeah,
and he picked her up, and they went and started riding around. And
yeah,
that's when he kind of, like, I guess, wore her down, or the 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 experience of the ride broke down her barriers or whatever, and they had
yeah,
a romantic moment.
yeah. It was a really weird situation. I think somebody else broke something in town, and then the cops, they knew he was the leader. Well, the town, it wasn't even the cop really. It was the town people that just kind of, a couple of the business guys got together and were like, we're gonna get this guy, and
That's right. Well, they
yeah,
put the rival gang guy in jail.
yeah,
So they jailed the rival gang member, and that's when it really kind of started getting rough. And then, so long story short, for those that haven't seen it, the things boil over,
right.
and it comes into an all out kind of scuffle
Yeah, they're
with
chasing him
everybody.
around like on foot at first, and then he gets back to the bike, and he's trying to ride away, and somebody chucks like a tire iron at him or something, and
That's right. Knocks him off the bike.
yeah, and of course, in a bike, it runs into this like nice old man from the whole movie. This one old guy that the whole time was like, "Oh, leave them alone, they're fine." Of course, the bike runs over and kills the guy, and so then they're going to arrest him for murder, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. So it really happens kind of late in the movie. So
yeah,
it's almost like, oh crap, we have to have a plot. Oh, he killed a guy.
yeah. He killed the guy, but then he really didn't, and then the sheriff kind of comes to his defense, and they basically say like, if you leave town and never come back, we'll let you go with a warning or whatever,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And that's and
For one
so
minute he's
at the very end.
to prison for life, and then next minute he's like, "Yeah, just give him a warning."
Well, Kathy comes in and speaks for him also, right? And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
she kind of says, "Hey, he didn't hurt me" or whatever, and somebody witnessed somebody hit him with a tire iron or whatever, so he got out of it. Um, but
as you can see from her description, nothing really happens in the movie. It's really just an excuse to have guys ride around on motorcycles and break stuff and
and snap their fingers and look cool,
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
and
yeah,
and apparently allegedly scare you if you're a crew cut 50s dad or mom. You
yeah.
should be terrified that this is going to happen to your child.
It was a pretty short movie too. I think it was only like an hour and a half. It was not a long movie.
Yeah, it was quick. Well, so not to skip past the ending. So the big crux, the big crescendo at the end is he walks out of town and he leaves with the trophy and his kind of rebellious pride, symbolizing that nothing's going to change and he's not going to change. But then he kind of comes back and stops and gives the trophy to Kathy, knowing that she's never going to go with him.
Right.
So it's kind of even though she kind of wants to, and
Yeah, she
probably
asked him
things are
about
a
the
little
trophy early in the movie, and then she figures out that he actually didn't even win it. 'Cause
right.
she was impressed by it, and then she was like, "Wait, you didn't actually win that?"
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it became like this whole like weird symbolism, I guess, or whatever. But
Very, very heavy-handed. I mean, frankly, just like Easy Rider, they really clonked you over the head with
yeah,
symbolism or whatever. Similar to the trophy in this movie was a lot like the changing the tire and the horseshoe
right,
in Easy Rider. But so at the end of the movie, he gives the trophy to Kathy, and then rides off. And so one of the things that kind of kept coming back to me is that he doesn't get redeemed per se in the movie. So one of the things kind of pulling my notes together for this, that my question that was kind of asking myself is Johnny redeemable? Because the guys in Easy Rider, in the time of Easy Rider, depending on what side of the politics you're on, were they even good people? They're just, they did a drug deal and were, kind of derelicts of society, but they're trying to be free, blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah. So Johnny is this wild guy. He's a rebel with literally no cause. Um, and the question is he redeemable? And he doesn't get redeemed in the movie. The plot of the movie is driven such that the opportunity for him to redeem himself in the future is now present. Where at the
right.
beginning of the movie
He gets a
he
second
has
chance.
changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he,
So
at least gets a second chance to change if he wants to.
yeah. So in that regard, with the ending being a slightly hopeful note, is any port in a storm after Easy Rider, where you're just sitting there going, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I also made a note. This movie came out 2 years before Rebel Without a Cause.
So that's kind of, so what did you like the most about the movie?
Um, I don't know. I guess I like the most. Um, I don't know. Honestly, I thought that was a pretty terrible movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I liked it. I liked it better than Easy Rider. I'm going to admit, I liked it better than Easy
did
Rider.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Easy Rider. This was much more of a movie
yeah.
to me. Easy Rider to me was a series of plots interspersed between badass motorcycle riding. Um, so I like the movie aspect better. Maybe it would just
I
have a
mean, I
little bit
guess
more
I
of a,
like the scenery and stuff. Well, not that the scenery was fantastic in Easy Rider, but they were out on the open road, and this was basically took place in one little town mostly,
yeah,
and yeah,
a movie set.
it was a movie set. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, movie set. But I think the thing that I liked the most about the movie, Brian, was I like the idea that back in the 50s, so many people were into bikes, just like there's so many people that are into bikes now.
yeah.
You think,
I guess if you want to ask me what I like, it created a culture.
yeah.
Although I guess it also inspired the one percenters part of the culture, which is the negative side of motorcycle culture. So,
Did it inspire, or is that more what they were trying to highlight?
yeah, I mean, they were trying to. It's one of those things like the chicken and egg thing because I know the thing in that town happened, but I think they made more out of it than it really was, and
Yeah,
then making it into a movie, then it probably took on a life of its own.
yeah,
Like what we mentioned in the Bike Riders, it inspired that the Tom Hardy character in the Bike Riders to do the same thing, and they basically went out. They were in the Midwest, and they were like, "Hey, let's do what those guys in California are doing, and start being rebels out here, and taking over our town, and they can't stop us. What can they do?"
yeah. And by the way, who is they? But
Yeah, exactly. Who are they?
yeah, who are they?
Yeah.
Well, and so if you could change one thing about the movie, what about that?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to change something in a movie that's 50, 60 years old. You know, I mean, I guess if they, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I would even consider like the Bike Riders like a remake of it in a way, even though I know it's in the same universe as that movie, but in a way, the
Oh
Bike
yeah,
Riders
yeah,
was
yeah.
kind of a remake of it. It was basically the same plot. It was a bunch of guys getting together and you know riding around and kind of getting in
All of a
trouble.
sudden, some not so great things happen, and you
Yeah,
have to get out of it.
there wasn't much plot in that movie either. It was just kind of like things happen, and then they're just telling this story about these people that knew each other.
Well, changing one thing or another. With the ending, I like the idea. I actually was grateful for the ending because I had assumed the ending was going to be more negative, like he was going to go to jail, and maybe the girl would still love him or whatever, but he was going to jail.
Yeah,
But the fact that he rides off the sunset is something that I wouldn't change. Maybe I feel like the townsfolk kind of getting upset, and it
I
seemed a little too contrived or whatever,
yeah,
like
yeah. I get if it was. I think if it was a modern movie, they would definitely do more negative things. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh
because
yeah,
because it was in the 50s, they're not going to show real violence or
yeah,
destruction. So it was mostly them throwing bottles and getting drunk
yeah.
and fighting each other. They weren't even like punching townspeople or anything. They were just fighting each other, and they
By the way,
didn't.
punching townspeople is a killer ska band name. If anybody out there wants that, contact me for the rights because punching
Yeah,
townspeople would be.
punching townspeople. Yeah, so I mean, I guess if it was a modern movie, then yeah, they would definitely be like really, you know, damaging property or creating violence, real violence. Whereas because it was the 50s, I think they were trying to keep it a little more. I don't even know what it was rated back then. Honestly, it was probably PG or something. But
Well, fun fact. I'll look at. I'll put it on the screen of when the movie rating system
oh
was
yeah, maybe there
introduced.
yeah maybe there weren't even ratings, right? Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this one
Well,
as far as
it. I looked it up. It had a $300,000 budget, which I guess it was not. I mean, it's hard to say because it was so long ago, but it made $4 million, so it was quite a successful movie.
yeah, I guess if you had to rate this, I can't. And frankly, it's been so long. Sorry, gang. If you had to rate this out of five, throttle twists or braps, we'll use braps.
Yeah, I got that
Um,
rap sign right
what,
back there. Yeah.
how many braps? And you said you didn't like it, so
As a as an iconic movie, obviously it's five, but as like an actual movie that I would enjoy just watching, it's like a two,
oh yeah, I hear
For
you.
me, I like I said, it just falls in that category of old movies old, like the score, it was black and white, which not that that's necessarily a negative, but it wasn't like incredibly shot or anything, like even the scenes that were actual motorcycle. There was one scene where they're kind of riding around the camera in the beginning that was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that was kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the bikes were pretty cool in it. Like I said, it's mostly Triumphs, a few Harleys mixed in there. Yeah, so like I said, as a motorcycle, like iconic film, yeah, sure, five. It created it, right? But as something I personally enjoy as a movie, yeah, probably more like a two. I probably won't watch it again.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I would actually watch it again. I'm probably gonna give it a three braps out of five.
Okay.
Three braps out of five. I thought it was, and again, probably coming off Easy Rider's, nihilistic ending, it probably sandbagged me a little bit. So I probably
Yeah, that
enjoyed it
the
a little
ending of
more.
Easy Rider, which I had seen that before I saw the movie. I just stumbled on it one day on cable, and so I was so confused about what the hell was going on. And then watching the entire movie, I was still confused. Like, why did they do that ending? It made no sense to me. I guess it was symbolic or whatever, of the time or whatever. But I'm not gonna spoil it if you can go watch our Easy Rider review. Yeah,
Go watch it and
but,
check out our other review.
yeah, but you know what made this movie better? Jack Nicholson.
He had a helmet. Well, good deal. I think that probably covers it for this one, gang. I really enjoyed it. I certainly am glad that I watched it. And I will say this: if you're a bike rider or interested in motorcycles, I think this is mandatory. I think you got to do it. And I'd certainly be interested in hearing your opinions in the comments. If there's something that we missed, if we completely missed some philosophical or important aspect of the movie,
Right.
let us know why we're terrible. And if we nailed it on the head, let us know also. And we would love some ideas for movies we got next. We got 4 or 5 different ideas. We don't have to give them away here. Four
Right.
or five different movies that we got coming up next, but there's plenty of them. And
Yeah,
we'll
don't
see you
forget
guys next time.
to subscribe to Action Motorcycles while you're here. Go ahead and click that
That's right. Yeah, click the
click that
subscribe button.
subscribe. And if you want to,
Same with Binge Moto.
that's right. Check out. I got a podcast, and Brandon's been on it. He's going to be on it again in the future. It's Binge Moto podcast. It's on audio and video. So yeah, feel free to check that out, and yeah,
That's right.
keep track of us. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, just giving a quick shout out. We may need to pull Tom Blizzard into a couple of these, given his vintage moto stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a vintage guy, so got
and
to
he's
have
an
some
actor,
opinions on
so
vintage
yeah,
movies.
maybe he give us some pointers.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Good deal. Hey, I appreciate it, Brian. Thanks for coming on, man. This is
Yep.
awesome. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. And
All right.
hey, keep looking for action.
That's right.